Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor Pro. I'm one of your hosts, joined by.
Typical Thieves, aka the Thief, I guess.
We're doing another podcast episode. The first
Which
subject today are the forums aren't dead. We are
oh
doing
yeah.
podcasts again. We like to do podcasts, although there are some issues with making every one of them. We do love them and do put our heart and soul into the ones we actually can find time to make.
The podcast, we've been doing a lot more of them actually than we have. It's no longer like one a year. And we just got back from a corporate break actually, which was really deserved. We did a lot this year. As a company and as or yeah, as just everyone. And we've done a lot. Do you want to actually go through a bit of what we've done this year or last year?
Oh, you want to talk about the beautiful patch notes about the recap we had to do?
Yeah,
Just all right.
I'm
We should
actually
probably talk.
I'm opening the page right now. I will put
Yeah,
it in the
it was
chat.
installing so I can open up that page.
So
All right.
let's okay. So some things that we accomplished last year, which we should be very proud of ourselves. We actually rebooted the organization, Team 84 official. So the fact that you're hearing this right now means that has been done because we're actually doing stuff now.
We started a stream schedule every Saturday that is actually going really regularly. We have not had any real issues with getting the weekly streams out.
Yeah, we took a break last week, at least last week's time of recording, due to us being on a corporate break. However, that's normal for even just YouTubers, organizations, whatever. So yeah, did we deserve a round of applause to ourselves? Clap, clap, us.
We
We
also rebuilt the site from pretty much the ground up.
it it's it actually functions way better than it did before. So much more
Faster,
done.
faster speeds, new parts, and I will never get over how the footer was changed. That was just so beautiful of a design change that now it doesn't clog up your entire page every time you want to look at it.
Yeah, we got around to actually redesigning the site, and it now functions way faster. It takes less than a minute to load. It takes a few seconds or less normally. Uh, it looks beautiful.
Don't forget about the forums.
We redid our forums. We rebuilt it from the ground up, wiped everything. Beautiful.
They no longer look like the very promising early 2000s, you know, uh post sites you'd see. The
The the boards from 2000s.
the anonymous boards we don't talk about. They don't look like that anymore. They now look like an actual forums page.
We relaunched the Watermelon podcast. The
It
one
was
you
abandoned.
listen. Yeah, when we shut down, it kind of went abandoned, but now we're not abandoned. New
Speaking of
episode.
which, we did get the other podcast onto um the big one,
Amazon. Amazon.
Amazon.
I think it's Amazon. Do not. I'm sorry, Amazon or whoever, but I
It
believe it
was
was.
Amazon.
Yeah, it was
It was
Amazon.
Amazon. Yes.
Yeah, we got approved on Amazon, so that is now available on Amazon Music. So you can
I don't. We did some updates to the Discord, of which has some interesting integration with our forums page, which I don't think even we fully understand.
what happens is we get notified and posts on our forums go to the corresponding channel in our Discord also, and it's beautiful, honestly. 10 out of 10. We did major updates to our Discord, yeah. We built our Discord bot from the ground up. That actually took some time because our old database was very out of date and needed a huge rehaul. So after months of back end work, I'm not kidding, it's still even in the works right now. That's been rebuilt completely. Almost all lines have been changed. Beautiful,
That did
working great.
that did fix numerous bugs, but also we fixed numerous bugs with our site. And well, we already talked about improving some stability, but there was a lot of issues with the site, of which is something we recap on because an email broke our site once.
Yeah, our email server kind of broke. That has been fixed. Another huge issue that was fixed is site performance. Some back end work, having more than a few people on the site now at once, doesn't break it because of back end magic we did. I'm not going to go into too much details for the security of our internals, but
You want to be hacked,
yeah, we are more active on social media now.
including our Blue Sky, which was abandoned after a single post, which was kind of sad.
For like, was it like a month or a year? I think it was a few months.
Uh-oh, speaking of scary things happening over the new year and the little break we took, it turns out I think that we've taken a break for a week off of the official YouTube for community posts, which I didn't
Eh,
even realize until just now.
well, to be fair to us, we were on break, so
True. I just think it was funny timing.
a lot more. So in my personal life, actually, I'm proud of this. I passed all my classes, my finals. I'm a
Unfortunately.
I'm a college student for IT, so
Unfortunately.
yes, that is unfortunate. Price, but yeah, I actually passed all my finals, which is somewhat of a reason I wasn't as active. But yeah, I passed all my finals. That took a lot of work. Literally months of stressing. Done until like a few weeks from now when classes restart. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Not really. But yes, I
All
did
right.
it.
So before we start moving on to the fun activities, we still have a couple more things to talk about. Like for instance, we decided on our forums we're going to start a new type of thread, a simple one, a mega thread. Our first one is for music. If you want to put any music that you listen to or one that you're just listening to at the time onto it, please feel free to do so.
It's basically just go there and share what you're listening to right now. Talk about music, whatever you want about
Any
music.
type of description you want, whether it's just something small like I'm listening to this song, or if you just don't want to leave a description, or if you want to leave an entire paragraph talking about why it's the best song ever and why everyone else should just bow down to it.
Actually, somewhat related. I've been listening to a lot of "Who Do You Voodoo, Bitch" from Dead Island. The
Good song.
song, the song's a bop. And speaking of Dead Island, I've been doing the Sola Dead Island 2 DLC for
Dang
like
good.
since Christmas. I'm stuck on the final boss, what I think is the final boss, and I can't beat it. It's sad.
Just enable some cheats and start flying through the world. You just use the
I'm
Gmod weapon. You know,
I'm playing on I'm playing on console. I don't think there's cheats.
use the Gmod weapon.
What?
Summon the gravity gun. You know what you must do.
I would, but that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, I have to get a job at that company that made it. Dam Buster Studios is what they're called. I remembered that off the top of my head. It took a minute, but I had to get a job
I
at Dam
believe.
Buster added into the game, and then yeah,
Look, it's more work than you're making it. Just pay someone a lot of money.
money does get you places in life. I'm just saying. Just
All
little
right, now that we're already on the topic, are you saying something?
no, forget it.
All
Not
right,
on podcast.
all right. Now that we are on the topic of zombies and video games, let's talk about the new COD map, of which we were meant to talk about a decent bit ago, but this podcast happened to take a bit of time to get around to. It's the new map's a mix of Der Eisendrache, my personal favorite map, with Coliseum from Black Ops 4. It's basically just a giant castle with some crazy stuff going on, and there's 4 new wonder weapons, of which are all swords. Their own unique features. Basically like the stabs, except, well, actually, they're more like the bows from the Eisendrach. I'm not going to evaluate further. Go on. Say your
Well,
piece.
I honestly don't find the map that fun. When
I
you get
like
the
it.
swords and upgrade them, it's still really not that fun. I prefer the more open world of the Liberty Falls or the compactness more of the
Terminus.
of Terminus, which Terminus I still really love. That's a great game. Not great game
Personally,
map.
I do like the new COD map over Terminus. Personally,
Valid opinion, valid opinion.
every
It,
opinion's valid. Just if even if people don't agree with them, that is an opinion. It's my opinion. Feel what you want.
but for me, I've been having some issues with the new Call of Duty though. Since I think it's like after one update of the game, my game constantly is crashing. Constantly crash.
You you
It got to the point where I lost around 61 game of Zombies of Liberty Falls to it, and then I again lost around 69 to it, and also a lot of times in between it'll keep crashing too, even round one. I don't really play multiplayer that much, so I don't have any experience with multiplayer, only zombies.
I think they I know that Windows 11 had an issue with that they ended up having to post about because they kept trying to fix things with I think OLED monitors and it would kept making games crash, all sorts of games.
Well, I did open a ticket with Activision, and after exchanging emails for about month and a half, they finally asked for my game crash logs. I sent them it, and then they closed my ticket. So I
Good to know.
opened a second ticket. They apologized for closing their first ticket. Then they basically kept going through steps I've already done. I kept throwing me in circles. I took to Reddit, and Reddit told me, yeah, it's an issue with the COD engine. It's been going on since Warzone 1. There's really no fix. Activision has to fix it. And it's like, really? I tried setting the game to all low, all high, medium. Nothing fixes it. Changing the resolution lower. I have like 16 gigs of VRAM, 32 gigs of normal RAM, and it's like, really? This should, you shouldn't be crashing. Over meets the specs. But whatever.
Like enough for now. We have to start rapid firing. We're running out of time. I bet that's happening. I bet running out of time. I know we are.
Not even
Probably got a
close.
podcast to go. Okay. Back to an old topic from the last podcast, I hope at least. Back to the big old topic of is it okay to emulate games you already own? For instance, Bloodborne on PC, which is something I manage to play now. Because I own the original Bloodborne, I have played it multiple times for streams and other things, and I personally really love the game. The issue is it's capped at 30 frames a second on console, and doesn't get updates because they just don't make a sequel or anything. They don't make a remaster. And that's a big sad thing because it's an absolutely lovely game. So I have been graced with the ability to play it with better features.
What console generation is Bloodborne from? Because I don't really know
Uh,
anything about the game, to be honest. This is one of the first time I'm hearing about it.
PS4. It's one of the most famous games out
So
there.
it's one of the newer generation games.
It was made in 2015, so it's literally 10 years old as of 2025.
That's odd to think about, that being an old game. But
Yep,
it is.
it is one
To
of the most
me,
popular games in the world.
old games are like the original Mario pixelated 2D games you play on the PS2.
Dude, I used to play on a PSP when I was little. I love PSP games. Oh.
But okay, so when you emulate Bloodborne, question: does it create issues where like textures are too fast to be on capture frame rate, etc.?
Yes, it does have a few smaller issues, of which they have patches for, thanks to the beautiful community.
I don't think then it should be a huge issue. Are they still selling the game?
They are, but it's not. They don't have like versions for PS5. You have to just play the PS4 on the PS5 using
Okay,
backwards compatibility.
I think its emulation is fine as long as my personal opinion. Emulation is fine as long as you own the game and can prove you own the game.
I have various streams of it on the native device, and
So I think that's fair to emulate it then, especially if you
I'm
don't want
only
to. If it's better to play on a PC through emulation, why say no? If you can prove you own the original game.
this isn't even like a situation where it's I don't want to buy it multiple times. It's I can't buy it multiple times for multiple devices because it's a PS4 exclusive, not even a PlayStation exclusive, a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Do
I
you
mean,
do you
well,
own a PlayStation 4?
I can play it on PS5, but there's not a PS5 version, so there's not like a lot of games will, even if they're not remastered, will have two separate applications, so they run better on one, or they'll have it so it's one version's upgraded or it has, it's given slight adjustments to work better and faster, so it doesn't have any bugs or doesn't have any issues with the fasting loader time. And
That
yes, Bloodborne doesn't have any issues with faster loading, I know. But I just wish it didn't stay capped at 30 frames a second, or it had small graphical upgrade or something. It only has the PS4 application and stays a PS4 game.
I think that's fair to emulate then, especially if you're gonna play on a PS5. And if that is being emulated, what's to say you can't do it on your own device? That's not made by Sony.
One last video game we're gonna really talk about for now is Pal World, which has gotten a new massive update, including a
No.
whole new dangerous island, and as of this year, is getting a collab with Terraria, a huge, massive game company that I love the Terraria game. The Terraria game. God. I love Terraria, and I
You
do
love
love the collabs it does with a lot of other games. It
you love the
introduces some
Terraria
great.
game specifically.
I love the game they make specifically. I don't know what other kind of the Terraria company makes the Terraria game, you know. And I love the Terraria game. I love their collabs. Like with Dungeon Defenders 2, they added a whole new character along with weapon sets and entire new maps. I do love their collabs with various other games, and I feel like in Power World it'll come with something very fun. I don't know what they're gonna do, but judging off the one thing they've added so far, I think it's gonna go pretty well. Which they added the Meowmer. One of the first things they usually add to many things.
I don't have much to say. I don't really play any either of those games. I played Power World a few times with one of my friends, but I uninstalled it and haven't really looked back. The
We should play it. All right, that's the topic for after, if we want to talk about it after.
so
Uh,
I had to replace my computer power supply unit and MSI. I know you're not listening, MSI, but get your
if you
shipping times together. My
if,
item took like a month to ship from your facility. Please. When I order something from Best Buy or Walmart or Amazon, it normally ships within a week. A month though, man, I'm sad.
he's sad. Listen to the sad man.
I'm
Listen to what you've
sad.
done to him.
My power supply. But yeah, get your shipping times together, please. Uh,
Anything we want to talk about for the New Year's? Any like personal goals or goals of Team 84?
my goal with Team 84 is we don't
To
shut
get
down by the end
worldwide
of the
fame.
year. I don't see us shutting
What do
down by the end of the year, so that's a New Year's resolution: is to not shut it down by the end of the year.
Gosh, that would be so difficult. That has almost happened almost every year so far. Ooh, wowee. Yikes. Ooh, That's tough. You know what? I believe in our challenge. I believe even though it'll be tough and difficult, I think we can do it if we put all our effort in.
Yes. We it's gonna be a good year, I feel, for Team Unit 4.
I feel like it'll be a good year. Yes. But then it's gonna get a bad year after.
Okay. Let's see. This.
No, I want to save that. I want to save that one for like a game section with these two.
Okay, I have no idea. You're gonna have to take the lead on that. I have no idea what that means. Okay, so this one I can talk a lot about. So normally when we record podcasts, the other podcast, the more fun one, the Dungeons and Dragons inspired one, what we normally do is we will meet in person and use the Anchor app to record episodes. But no, sorry, the Spotify for Podcasters app. But Spotify decided to remove the in-app recording feature and told us to move to another app called Riverside, which, from my experience, is so slow, so buggy, and it lags. I don't want to have to move Spotify. Please bring back the other feature. Let's record directly in app. It ruins the aesthetic having to use a PC to record. Because the entire that violates the aesthetic of the podcast.
That violates us and our importance in the podcast space. It makes us non-existent. It hurts us. We disappear a fraction of our souls.
Yeah, we don't want to have to record on a PC, and that mobile app is just so buggy and confusing. Please let us do it the other way, but again, I beg you, I beg you, I get on my knees, my hands praying. It ruins your workflow.
Bad news, I'm all out of water, so I may have to start drinking ketchup.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Your profile photos
You
catch
hear
up.
that? Restart the entire podcast to get rid of a 5-second break. Anyways, to the next subject. We got part of a test that, well, it's not by the person who originally made it. It's a test from a YouTuber called, I think, Sambucha.
It's not. It doesn't seem like it's Sambucha.
Again, to clarify, they said it's not them, and I don't believe it's them. Again, it's a test from just a random person doing the Sambucha test, which is basically they gave us a offer of cash to advertise something that doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
And
they offered to sponsor us with a product which doesn't exist and immediately rose red flags to us.
because it's supposed to test whether or not someone actually does the due diligence to look into what they're sponsoring, or if they're just going to be willing to peddle anything for cash, which is, personally, I think it's a very big test to see if the people you are watching really do pay attention. We spent less than 5 minutes, found out it was fake, and then proceeded to talk about it a little bit with them. Got one of the funniest replies we've seen so far, and overall, I think it's really nice to see that we are doing our due diligence and actually getting things done correctly. We're not just going to be shelling out random garbage just because we can get paid for it. We'd rather make sure we do this with integrity.
They said we could read it on podcast.
Yes, we should clarify that the only reason we're talking about this is we have the exclusive permission to do so.
We got written permission from them to talk about it. We'll put a screenshot on our forums for a better understanding of it, but they said my name is, and I'm just going to redact that part.
Yeah, I was going to say, please don't say their name out loud.
With Chad VPN. We're a new startup VPN company. We're a company looking for content creators to do sponsored content on our VPN service, Chad VPN. We offer best-in-class speeds and privacy while keeping prices lower than our competition. We're offering $300 for one sponsored stream. Then they gave a Trustpilot link to the Trustpilot page. I have no idea where it's going with that.
Even if we didn't click on that link, we were already pretty suspicious. And then we decided to take a look. We went onto the thing. it shows only reviews. And because this was the Sambucha test, it has a lot of 5-star reviews over people saying it's a great VPN, use it, some 4-star reviews saying similar things, because it's supposed to be, hey, take a look at this. And if you go even further, oh, wait, it's officially down now. What?
What's down?
Oh, wait, we end up having to use the Wayback Machine as well. But it's the actual website that it's linked to, the Chat VPN one. It was part of a big test, as we were saying, and yeah, we didn't fall for it. We just looked into it, spent a few minutes going, what is this? Went down a rabbit hole, went some back and forth, proved that we weren't going to do it because it was too suspicious, and it turned out well.
Yeah, our response was, can you provide more details on your business right now? From research of your business, it seems very sketch. So to speak along with one of your partners, one of the partners was literally the word fake spelled backwards. I think their address was...
It was the White House.
Oh, White House?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the White House. So we sent them a Rickroll, to be honest. And they said, so you're not interested? Then when they realized what we responded with, they just said the word they said the word fuck.
Oh no, those weren't Rickrolls. I sent 3 placeholders, all 3 of which were actual. I sent proof of 3 different pieces of proof of what it was. One was the link to the official Sambucha video showing what the prank was. The other 2 was a person who fell for it and their own reaction to them falling for it. And I said, and I quote, this is me, hi, blank, we saw the address you posted and are glad to see you are a person of power. If you want to go to the next step, please click one of the links below.
I honestly thought it was a Rickroll, so I didn't click it.
We talked about this. They were all just pieces of proof, all linking to different YouTube videos, showing literal pieces of proof against them. I made sure they were all different ones. I used 3 different sources.
They did give us written permission. We'll provide more details on a forum post about this podcast like we normally do. But yeah.
Again, please, if we will leave everything, we'll leave them anonymous. Please do not go out of your way to try to find any information about them.
I'm pretty sure they used a burner email.
Hopefully.
Yeah, at least I hope they used a burner email. I'm not sure. But
right, we have.
You talk about the next topic. You started.
All right, now for the very fun part, the part that everyone's been asking for every single time we do a podcast. We're gonna play a little bit of a game. We have 2 little games to play. They're not going to be long, okay, unfortunately.
Just to clarify, I have no idea what's going to happen. He made this, so let's see.
We didn't prepare. I really wanted to prepare for the second one. The first one is going to be, how far back can we think of memes? What are some of the oldest famous memes you can remember? They have to be ones that are super popular, but nobody remembers anymore.
Keyboard Cat is very popular in the past.
That one's still popular today, even.
So we're just trying to think of the oldest memes?
Some of them. You can go even just like 3 years back. But as long as they're completely forgotten now.
Oh, my Yahi guy.
That one's a good one. There was one I had perfect for this one. That was back from like 2014. I was so happy to think about, and I was so excited. This is the whole reason I brought this up. I can't remember.
The one of Jake from Adventure Time shaking his hands.
Mine has to be ahaha. It's your boy, Skinny Pete. I love that one.
Oh, a very forgotten one that is old at this point is Do You Know the Way?
Yeah, I honestly, for the longest time, I really wanted to bring it back, but not as like one of the, Savage Island Ugandan Knuckles. I wanted to be the one in a suit who would just be like, yes, please don't reference me to my more savage brothers. I am just a normal man doing this guy's taxes, following him around, just
Honey,
doing normal.
where is my super suit?
Super Suit will always be a good one.
Okay, let's see other ones. There was the girl looking away from the house that's on fire.
Yeah, she actually didn't turn out to be insane after so many years, which was funny. A lot of people did expect her to be.
The YouTube poop of Ain't Nobody Got Time for That. And the Predator Shuffle?
Oh, that one is so funny. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We are bad, but now we're not.
Yeah, I don't know. I had no time to prepare for this.
Yeah, I wish I had time to repair, because now I just sound like I'm leaving so many out.
There is. I'm having a hard time thinking of a lot. Oh, there was the dress that people can decide the color on.
It was, if I remember correctly, there was a definitive answer. And I think it was the blue with gold.
I don't know if this
But
counts as a meme, but slime.
slime. Slime is forever.
Putting Sharpie on your skin, recording you putting a flashlight to it.
Now we're just getting into trends. Speaking of which, my favorite trend didn't even make it to TikTok. It was a lot of dangerous trends weren't even from TikTok. There was the beautiful trend that happened just before Musically rebranded, which was the breaking people's arms with one punch trend. If anyone remembers that one.
It's in Vine's archive still up.
I do not know. But that one where you rub someone's arm and you punch it and it just completely just broke the arm. And everyone was doing that one and then got freaked out. There was the Tide Pod trend. That one was often millennials, who are the same people who say Gen Z on TikTok are absolutely dumb creatures who do horrible things. As if their own generation didn't eat Tide Pods.
That
Gen
was
Z
our
didn't do much in
generation.
that one.
Didn't our generation do that? That's kind of sad.
Our generation didn't do much Tide Pod eating.
Was that the kids younger than us?
No,
Or
those are the ones
older?
older than us.
Our generation knew better to not do that. More than people
No, I
older
wouldn't say
than
knew
us.
better. We just did different stupid stuff.
We did
Every
like
generation has a lot of stupid people. And it's the ones who survive that think the other ones are dumb from every generation.
I have to see. I'm trying to think of other trends that have happened in the past or memes. There was the Slender Man was a meme for a while.
That one had some very sad things happen around it.
True.
Also, some very funny ones.
Oh, back in the day, everyone knew who Gay Ben was. Gabe Newell, Gaben at valvesoftware.com.
The one man who knew how to make video games. The only one.
I have no idea why he became such a meme, but it was glorious. Literally anyone that you could have talked to would have known who he was back in the day.
You know something absolutely wild about him is back then you can still hear companies say like the stupidest, wildest things about making sequels to video games that make zero sense. And he's just like the one voice of reason saying maybe don't fuck up the entire series by removing the critical features and then having nothing to do with anything. Maybe have the sequel be a sequel.
I agree with his stance on piracy, though. His stance on piracy is to prevent piracy, make a product people want to actually pay for.
Beautiful. That's the same thing with movies lately.
And the people who will be pirating it are the people who can't afford it, or if it's a region availability issue. Because the product would be worth paying for.
I 100% believe that, yes, there will be some bad actors with that regardless, but I think if you make a good product, people will buy it. There's a lot of cases of people who pirate something and then buy it if they think it's a good product. And that's actually a super famous opinion. Same thing with, Moist Critical has talked about that with his comic. He said, if you read his comic and you don't want to pay for it, and you don't want to use this, so you don't want to pay for it at all, pirate the first thing, and if you like it, maybe buy it. And I think that's a decent way to look at it if you want. But
Yeah,
a lot of people who pirate it just don't know if they want it or they don't like it and they just want to play it for free because it's better that way for them.
yeah, it's if the product is worth paying for, people will pay. If they pirate it, they might actually pay for it afterhand. Some people, if you make a game where people have to pirate it because otherwise they're full of being scammed, look into the product itself. I think a really good example of this is No Man's Sky. They turned that around, not quick, but they turned it around
True.
good.
True. I remember back a while ago, No Man's Sky when it first released was nothing. It was literally just planets with like 2 materials, and that was it. Like, it was people would pirate it all the time because there's nothing to it, and now there's a lot of people who love it, and actually a ton of people buying it. As a perfect example.
Yeah, or Half-Life. A lot of people you could pirate Half-Life before it came out. It got leaked, and it still was one of the most sold games at that time, despite the requirement of Steam, which everyone protested at first.
Actually, we've had a very relevant subject today. Bloodborne. People love Bloodborne. Super popular game. It is impossible to play without a PlayStation for most people. And some people have pirated on PC so they can actually manage to play it. And those people, when they like it, will sometimes actually go out of their way to buy a PlayStation just so they can get the game. But for a lot of people, it still is inaccessible if they don't have access to PSN or any way to get a PlayStation. So they would have to use pirating just to play the game.
Again, availability issue.
Yes.
If you don't want pirates, make it available where the audience is.
It's that simple.
Okay, like example, I wanted to play Detroit Become Human for a while. I don't have a PlayStation. I didn't want to get a PlayStation. They released it on PC, so I actually picked it up on PC. On Steam, I bought a copy. Who knew that paying customers will pay if it's available on their platform?
It's absolutely insane to think about. Maybe if you give people access to something, they may want it. I just don't know why. Especially if it's super cheap to put onto other things. You port it.
I don't know. I actually picked it up like literally yesterday. It was on Steam sale.
Well, that was a fun place to get to from just obscure old memes. For the last little game I want to play, in your opinion, what is the most? What are some? I'm not going to make you pick the most because otherwise people are just going to get upset. What are some of the most dangerous game universes to live in? I want to do slideshows for a joke, but now I genuinely think this question's funny, so I do want to actually do it.
Are we ourselves or are we the characters in the game?
We are just our human selves.
Minecraft.
That is a fair answer. Minecraft, as everyone's like, oh, it's so easy. First of all, you're not going to be working with, like, actual, like, the furnace is a furnace, first of all. There's no heat regulation. You put coal in it and pray you don't overcook things. When it comes to food, you are butchering that animal yourself. It's not going to just, like, I mean, maybe if it is just, like, video game logic, you kill it and it drops a thing, maybe it works that way. Life would still be hell. I don't think you'd want to live in that world. Things would be very blocky. There's no shaders.
If you
You're
don't
be living in no shader Minecraft.
If you don't die from external factors, you're gonna drive yourself crazy by the loneliness. It doesn't matter who you are, you'll be by yourself in a world that is out to get you. You will have no one. You're gonna either die yourself or die from driving yourself crazy. Die from a mob, fall damage, lava, a fucking dragon, gas.
I think one reason why Minecraft is going to be more dangerous than Terraria is solely because of the isolation. Yes, there's villagers, but villagers don't even, like, talk to you. They only trade with you. That is the only time they give you any interaction. If they don't want to trade, they will literally not talk to you. They will shake their head no.
Also, how are you supposed to collect resources if you are not a character? If you're yourself,
True.
good luck
I
getting
was thinking more of the
resources.
fact of food. You can survive with the food issue, but how are you going to get the wood? I mean, maybe some sticks, but you need planks.
And if you're
So
yourself, how are you supposed to use a crafting table?
you're going
Like,
to be sitting there with a stick, and you're just going to be smacking that tree for hours and hours, and you will pray that some magic will happen. Because you're right. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe blocks will drop. Maybe, but that's just assuming that it works with Minecraft physics.
yeah, because aren't
Building
trees
a tool is
supposed to be
not physics.
stronger, but Steve aren't trees supposed to be like very strong, but Steve is stronger? So if you're
Yeah,
dropped as your human self, who's to say though those Minecraft physics have been applied to you because you're not a character, you're a human?
but I will say the physics maybe because that's just like killing the Minecraft animals. But building stuff is not a physic. That is an actual mechanic, and things like mechanics aren't going to apply for you. They're going to work completely different for you. Like going straight up while swimming, you can't do that. You have to manually move upwards and swim, which is going to be very fun for drowned. So
Another very dangerous game world. Let's
can
see.
I do one?
I would say maybe the Half-Life universe.
The thing with the Half-Life universe is, even though it's not survivable, there is a ton of survivors.
Yeah, but
And it seems to be one of the main things you got to worry about is just your head. I know that there is things that will kill you otherwise, and you do have to watch out for other survivors if they turn. But I mean, they've just shown as long as you've got a way to protect your head, you're basically safe from the head crabs.
yeah, but I'm also talking about like the Vortigons, the
Yeah.
Combine.
It seems like as long as you're in a secure building and there's nothing like if you're in the middle of a town, well, that's actually just a rough place to be in the first place. But somewhere where the buildings won't explode and you go up nice and high and don't attract too much attention, you can survive. I mean, it'll suck, but it's actually probably a little bit easier than your basic zombie apocalypse. Just a tiny bit. My
What?
opinion.
Yeah, what's your opinions? What games would you say?
One that I've been very passionate about because people don't understand this one just because of its rating, I believe. Borderlands. Borderlands, everyone's like, Borderlands would be so easy. You know, you just pick up a gun and survive. First of all, your health, that's not shield. Shield breaks very easy. Those characters surviving when you got blood coming out, your health going down, that's them taking bullets to the side and just staying alive because they know they're going to die if they don't. That's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to have 1,000 health. No, you are going, if you're yourself, you're going down in a single bullet. Not to mention, things like skags exist, which can do all sorts of horrific things by regurgitating stomach acid at even walls to melt them. You
Un-
have bullymongs, which rip open things. What were you gonna say?
Unpopular opinion, they're kind of cute.
I fucking love skags. I love them so goddamn much. You have racks. Racks can rip you out of the sky and are pretty much like the most violent version of a vulture. You also, one of the biggest, or some of the biggest threats, just to rapid fire them, bandits. There are billions of them. There are so many, not bandits, psychos. There are so many psychos that is literally known as an infinite energy source because of how many there are. There are so many psychos. They're an infinite energy source because there's too many of them. Think about that for a second. If you think you can survive on a planet with so many humans that are out to eat you and kill you as brutally as possible, that they're known as a infinite, truly infinite energy source, you are not going to last a moment. Not to mention constant explosions. I mean, yes, you can sign up for your. Well, actually, I'm not even sure you can sign up for a new U machine. Those cost a lot to sign up for, and you don't really have a reason to be on there because I mean, the reason that a lot of Vault Hunters are on there is because Handsome Jack wants to kill them over and over, especially if he gets angry at them. He's not going to know you. He's not going to sign you up for it. Screw you. You don't have money.
You're just an
I have
NPC
one.
at that point.
Yep, you are literally one shot dead. You're screwed. One other
Oh,
part I was gonna add was despite the constant elements, attacks, threshers that would just go underneath your home and eat you. Um oh yeah. The only form of government and I mean the only form, is usually one person per town, claptraps, which often fail at their jobs, and turrets. And the turrets are only in like 2 towns. Most of the sanctuaries are held together with glue and tape, and they'll somebody. In fact, in various games, you
Can you
do kill
repeat
people in
that?
the towns.
Can you
Which
repeat that?
part?
You cut out.
Okay, so which part did I cut out on? The fact that the
Last
towns are held
15
together.
seconds. The last 10 seconds.
Oh, it was the last thing I said, the security and how it's run by claptraps who fail their jobs.
Yeah.
And turrets. Turrets are only in roughly 2 of the places you can find safe. And that is one where you're on the moon. And I don't even know what another one is. I mean, maybe, no, not even Sanctuary. They have a giant shield. They are held together with duct tape and glue. Not to mention, in several of the games, you kill people outright without even permission. In Borderlands 2, there is a argument among thieves, pretty much. And you have to choose which one to shoot. What happens when you shoot one? Nothing. You don't get punished for killing them. No, there's no punishment. You just kill somebody in the middle of town, in the middle of this safe place, quote unquote. I mean, yes, they're kind of criminals, but in various other times, there have been innocent people who just got shot in the middle of Sanctuary. Like, yeah, it happens. What's going to happen when you disagree with someone? They pull a gun out at you in the middle of town. Think of what happened to the poor man who tried to return a gun and got shot. Are you going to survive that? Sorry,
No.
I got off on that tangent, but are you going to survive being shot for trying to return a gun?
No.
I don't know why people say Borderlands is so easy to survive. It is not. You're not going to be there with shields. You're going to get shot. You don't have an infinite blood source. You are screwed. You don't have allies. You're not going to meet Claptrap. You're going to be screwed, bleeding out in the middle of a valley, being eaten alive by a bunch of hungry scavenge animals.
I would also say another one very hard to survive would be GTA Online.
Oh, you mean a world where there's just... It's basically trying to say you would survive in a world riddled with, like, a ton of people who have no governmentless land. I think that one's just... It's hard to survive unless you know people, and even then, it's going to be basically gang warfare.
Specifically GTA 5 Online. Because when GTA 6 releases later this year, who's to say if they're going to change the formula? So for time's sake, I'm just going to say GTA 5 Online.
I think the mercy with that one is there is some good people who you could probably find, or you could just, not engage with people at all.
Yeah, but even then, there's people going out on flying bikes, helicopters, jets, tanks.
But I'm saying, like, you could probably survive it a lot better than some of these other options.
Maybe,
I mean,
but
I
still
would
very
probably go through a mental
dangerous.
breakdown seeing some of that stuff. But I'd survive definitely a lot longer than any other universes we talked about. Like, maybe 20 minutes, at least.
Minecraft, you'd get shot by a skeleton and die probably within 5.
Because a lot of people don't realize you're going to have to dig roughly 7 feet within, I guess, 24 hours. Because I'm going to say, I know the game is sped up, like, time day wise, just because they don't want to wait that long. So I'll grant maybe 24 hours. But you're going to have to dig an over 7-foot hole and have a way to cover it that things that weigh over like 100 pounds cannot instantly fall through. And then be quiet enough none will stay till the morning. And pray that if they do stay, it's not a creeper.
And that they are not under a tree. Or some at the type of shade.
I was trying to think of a reason why a tree wouldn't work, and I just remember you go back to the logic of you're going to be spending a long time trying to chop that tree.
I've heard so many
Your
people...
best luck...
I'll continue.
I was going to say, your best luck is literally a mud hut built inside of a cave. Like, you just seal yourself off and pray you have enough breathing room to breathe.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people say Minecraft would be super easy, but in the real world... Because they compare it to the real world where you're not dying constantly. But in the real world, you don't have creepers, you don't have skeletons, you don't have zombies. You have civilization.
And because of how the real world is, if humans were suddenly wiped out, where you're probably living wouldn't be as dangerous as you think. Because a lot of the predators that a lot of people think about when the world gets wiped out are gonna be regionalized how humans have regionalized them. You're gonna be sticking with the animals that are around your area only. Well, for at least a few hundred years, because they have to break migration paths and everything.
But
They're stuck where they are.
but in this Minecraft scenario, it's basically you just spawned it on a random seed.
Yep.
So who's to say you didn't spawn in the middle of the ocean with nothing around you?
True. Also, you're not going to be able to eat a lot of things that they can eat. Poisoning, for instance, very fun. That's a lot of health. If you want to like do the math, it's a single arrow takes out like 2 hearts, right? Poisoning takes out I think over 3 total. Just basic like spider eye eating. If you accidentally just pop one of those in your mouth, that's gonna do more damage than an arrow straight to the chest. So.
Or if you run around find a pillager.
Oh, pillagers, those would go crazy. Especially if they can hunt you out like they can in most Minecraft games after so many days. You're just screwed instantly.
Yeah, I don't see anyone surviving that long for that type of stuff.
That one quite literally would depend on a ton of luck and praying. Maybe you found a village, but even then you'd have to pray that villagers wouldn't just like get upset at you or have an iron golem go after you if you try to sleep in their beds.
True.
Plus, they don't always close the doors. Zombie villagers are a super common situation. And if you're on hard mode, zombies can break doors.
Would the player be? No, they'd probably be on hard mode.
They'd probably be in normal mode, because that's just the normal mode.
That'd still be hard.
That would be fucking difficult. There's still all the mobs and everything.
And the mining
Literally.
And all of that.
Yes, things will come out of the ground. Like, zombies and skeletons are infinite. If you go mining once, digging down 1 block can kill you. You can experience creepers out of nowhere. Lightning strikes instantly kill you. Everything instantly kills you.
I think this wraps it up for this podcast.
Yeah, I think we've gone too many rants at the end.
All
right.
Thank you guys for listening to this new New Year special of the Watermelon Podcast. This has been really good. Thank you guys for listening. Find more information at forums.teammetaphorofficial.com. We will post more details.
Pro. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been Typical Thieves, and we're signing out. Bye.